Cristiano Ronaldo sat down with Piers Morgan to talk about his bitter experience with Manchester United, his opinion about Messi and the loss of his baby. And his body language in all three scenarios gave away his true emotions, so let's get down to it. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, I'm the body language guy. And in my first impression of Cristiano at this interview is of a dominant man. He is sitting relaxed on the chair, but he keeps his spine straight and his shoulders broad. Throughout most of the interview, he keeps his chin really high, which in some cases I've mentioned that it means just a bit of arrogance, but in a more positive dimension it also projects high confidence. But a signal that he did not have that much confidence is one that you cannot see in this clip. But during the whole interview, he had his legs crossed at the ankles. So it's a bit odd that he projects high confidence with his chin, but at the same time keeps his ankles crossed. It would be much better if he kept his feet planted firmly on the ground. I'm gonna give him a pass, pun intended. There's also that odd hand gesture that he kept almost all the time, and it has a very interesting meaning. But before we need to address some patterns in Cristiano's facial expressions. And the first clip when he talks about being betrayed is a good example of trying to hide anger.
Force you out.
Yes, not only the coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club.
At the senior executive level?
Yes, that I felt betrayed. The coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club.
At the senior executive level?
Yes, that I felt betrayed.
Now, I suggest that you pay attention to this very gesture that is hiding your lips or turning your lips inward. Even if you don't know the exact meaning of this gesture, you can notice that there's some hostility in his expression. That's because your intuition is talking to you, but you don't know exactly how you are getting this meaning. Now, I want to make this video as didactic as possible, so what I'm going to do is to play a clip where he is giving his opinion about Messi to see if you can spot the most important difference between the two.
Messi now. As you both head to maybe your last World Cup.
As a football player?
Yeah, and as a person.
Amazing. Player is magic top. Amazing. Player is magic top. Amazing. Player is magic top.
The first signal that we see here is a pacifying gesture, touching his nose. It does not mean that he is lying, but he is, he has his reservations about this, because he also uses that signal to look away from Morgan. And when he uncovers his face right after that gesture, you can see that the expression is one of disgust, like something that you don't really like. So it means that he doesn't like Messi. Well, not so fast. Because this expression is very different from the openly hostile when he was talking about the Manchester United directive. So here we're talking about covert anger. He was trying to hide that emotion, even if he was expressing openly that he felt betrayed by the Manchester United directive. This is a much different expression when he's talking about Messi, that first reaction talking about Messi and Messi's playing. I have my reservations about the possibility that Cristiano doesn't like Messi's style of playing. That will be ludicrous. But body language is speaking for itself. In this first reaction, what happens next? He begins to deny with his head. But body language is speaking for itself here. And what happens next? He begins to deny with his head. But at the same time, the facial expression that we are getting is one of, not that impressed. And complementing that not impressed attitude, we have this, a single shoulder shrug. Right there, he raises his shoulders. I'm going to go back and try to change the frame so you can maybe a bit further will be easier to see. Here you have it. He just raises his shoulder in a dismissive attitude. And after saying magic top, it's a great play, amazing player is magic top, he puts his tongue outward to one side. That signal is usually a very mixed one. It doesn't have a direct connotation, but I always have my But it's always important to notice this kind of signals after the person has made a statement. Like the person makes a statement and then looks away and juts their tongue out. Maybe it doesn't always mean that the person has regrets for what they just said, but that is one of the most common meanings of this gesture. And what does Cristiano do immediately after?
As a person, we shared the stage 16 years. Imagine, 16 years. We
At the highest level.
We share. So I have great.
He immediately changed the topic to the personal level. Okay, we have shared this stage for 16 years. And he also tries to make it clear in a very direct body language that, well, he has a nice friendship with him.
With him. I'm not friend of him in terms of, when I mean friend is the guy who is with you in your house, who speak on the phone. No, but he's like a teammate. He's a guy that I really respect the way he always speak about me.
Notice he wants to mean it because he unlocks his hands and begins finally to really express with illustrator gestures, his words. In fact, when he says that he is like a teammate, that Messi is like a teammate and a guy that he really respects, I think he's telling the truth. So what we saw at the start, maybe what we saw at the start is a reaction to Messi's style of playing. Maybe he doesn't really like Messi's style of playing, but he respects the effort and the level that Messi is playing. That would make so much more sense. Now notice how Cristiano deflects the topic to something else.
Me, even his wife or my wife, my girlfriend, they always respect. They are from Argentina. My girlfriend is from Argentina.
Yeah.
So good. What I'm going to say about Messi, great things. He's a good guy. You do everything for football.
Notice that when he had to talk about Messi's playing, he was very short and to the point and gave away certain body language tells. Then he changed the subject to Messi as a person and was much more laid back and was much more natural in his body language expression. Then he made sure to open the topic again to talk about Messi and his wife and talking about his girlfriend. They are all from Argentina. So maybe Cristiano knows that it would not be good sportsmanship if he begins criticizing or being sly about Messi's style of playing. Well, at least he tried to answer the direct question in a way that, well, showed quite some body language clues, but then he went for the personal level in a way that sounded really good. Now let's go back to the first clip that we saw about his frustration, about feeling betrayed by the Manchester United directive.
Coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club.
At the senior executive level.
Yes, that I felt betrayed.
Well, notice that his neck is much more tense. His jaw is a bit more tense too. He has more displays of arrogance and high confidence, like I know what I'm doing. This is different from a tongue jot. Notice this gesture. I want to make a difference with this gesture, the one we saw. Here he's wetting his lips. In the other clip, we saw something a bit different, which is a tongue jot. Okay, just showing your tongue. These 2 gestures are different. Keep that in mind. And here, talking about that betrayal, he does this gesture, this hiding his lips. When you hide your lips, when you turn your lips inwards towards your teeth, that is a threatening gesture. That you are really upset, you're angry. Notice that at no point, talking about Messi, he did this gesture. He only does this gesture talking about the Manchester United directive. And he also has this, strong pressed lips. And the lips inwards, he does that at least 3 times. So 3 times here, once, then twice, then 3 times here at the last moment. Now we're going to change to the third topic, that is Cristiano losing his baby, his son. There's one moment when he's talking about the Manchester United directive, like not believing him about what happened. He sensed that they were not believing him, and that upset him even more. Notice how his body language changes at that moment.
Your baby daughter's in hospital.
Exactly.
And you must have been absolutely
I
beside
spoke with the
yourself.
directive of and the president of Manchester United, and then kind of that didn't believe that something going wrong, which is make me feel bad.
Really?
Yes, yes.
I didn't believe you.
Okay, you might have caught it when he says the president of Manchester United, and then kind of didn't believe that something was going wrong. And he tries to just shrug it off, like smiling a bit, but he can't help but do another pacifying gesture, looking away. Like, how can I say this? And right before cutting, you can see that gesture again. Turning his lips inward because he was upset and angry at how come these people can be so heartless, so cold-blooded that they did not believe that he had lost his son. And this is another great signal to spot when someone is angry, wants to try to pacify themselves. It's easy to spot if you are focusing on their shoulders. Look at this. I'm going to put this in loop. Notice that he is taking this deep breath. Those deep breaths are easy to spot because you see not only his chest, but his shoulders rising. He's trying to vent off that frustration, that anger, and at the same time, he's pressing his lips. He's really angry at these people and how they behave with him. So this was a great example to see that even if someone tries to keep their body language calm and collected, well, there are always signals that are going to tell you the true story, the true feelings behind those words. And yes, I almost forget to tell you what was the meaning of that hand gesture that he was doing all the time. Well, I'm sure Cristiano is aware of the way energy flows around one's body, and that's something that he needs for his job. And that must be the Uttara Body Mudra, which is a hand yoga position of the fingers, this is enlightenment mudra that dissipates fear and detaches your mind from worldly desires. There's another explanation here. Uttara Body Mudra is like boosting your inner confidence. This mudra, when practiced for a longer time, brings a sense of positivity to you. It makes you feel that there's no negative energy in life. You don't need to worry or stress yourself after anything. Everything will be good in the long run. It makes you believe that there's one supreme God who will take care of everything. So this mudra is like enriching yourself and your inner positivity. I will be doing more research on this. Meanwhile, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. And don't forget to download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. Much love and bliss.